You built your whole video workflow around Sora 2, and then OpenAI announced it's shutting down in September 2026. Meanwhile, FLUX 3 is out here, with native audio and 10 image references from day one. FLUX 3 is the open-weight challenger built for multimodal workflows, and Sora 2 is the proprietary incumbent on a clock. One of them is actually worth building on, so let's figure out which. Okay, so test 1 is cost, and here's the objection I keep hearing. Sora 2 has clean per-second API pricing, so it must be the safer financial bet. But run 100 clips a month at 20 seconds each on Sora 2's API, and you're looking at $200, just in generation fees, before you've touched editing, hosting, or anything else. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. I went through both pricing pages, and here's what I actually found. FLUX 3 has no official public pricing at all. Black Forest Labs' own page still shows FLUX Ho, so you're routing through third-party resellers starting around $4.90 a month, which is way cheaper, but comes with real platform risk. Sora 2 is 0.10 per second at 720p, clean and transparent, but its consumer app is already dead and the API sunsets, September 2026. FLUX 3 takes cost, and I'll be straight with you. I expected Sora 2's transparent pricing to win this one, but a tool that sunsets in September 2026 is not a budget-friendly choice no matter how clean the rate card looks. That puts FLUX 3 up 1-0. I found that sunset date after routing a real production workflow through Sora 2 for 3 weeks. Drop a comment if you've already been burned by a tool going dark on you. Test 2 is coding benchmark performance. And I know what you're thinking. You've seen comparison videos where every tool gets graded on code generation, even when it makes 0 sense. So let me just address this straight up. Neither FLUX 3 nor Sora 2 is a coding model, and I'm not going to fake a benchmark that has no signal. I couldn't find a published figure for either side here, and that's completely expected, because both are video and image generation models, not code generators. FLUX 3 handles image, video, audio, and action prediction. Sora 2 does text to video and image to video. And if you need code, you're looking at the wrong tools entirely. No winner here, both models are video generators, so this dimension doesn't move the needle for either side, and the score stays at FLUX 3-1, Sora 2-0, 1 tied. Test 3 is speed, and the number that got me here is 90 seconds. That's how long Sora 2 Pro takes to generate a single 20-second clip based on community testing. So if you're batching 10 clips for a client deadline at midnight, that's 15 minutes of just waiting. And FLUX 3 has no published speed number at all, which is its own kind of problem. Sora 2 Pro clocks in at roughly 90 seconds per 20-second clip from community tests, and the Plus tier is even slower at around 200 seconds, while FLUX 3's only data point is community chatter saying it's faster than FLUX 2, with 0 official numbers behind it, and a known quantity beats a vibe every time. Sora 2 takes speed, purely because a real number beats no number. I didn't expect to hand Sora 2 a win here, given everything else, but 90 seconds is concrete, and FLUX 3's speed claim is just a rumor, so that ties us up. FLUX 3-1, Sora 2-1, 1 tied. Alright, so we're tied up with 2 dimensions still to go, and these next 2 are the ones that actually decide whether you can build a real long-term workflow, because clip length and multi-shot chaining on one side, and open weight access on the other, could completely flip the total cost picture you just saw in Test 1. Test 4 is context and output limits, and here's the real-world scenario. You're building a product demo video that needs consistent characters across 5 scenes, 10 reference images, and native audio. So you're not paying for a separate music pass. That's a real production workflow, and the model that can't take more than one image reference and generate single clips is going to break it at step 1. I went through the specs twice because the gap is pretty wide. FLUX 3 takes up to 10 image references, plus text, audio, and video inputs, generates 20-second clips, and chains those clips into multi-shot sequences that run for minutes, while Sora 2 takes text and one image, tops out at 25 seconds on the Pros tier at 0 pulse and 70 per second, and generates single shots only with no chaining. FLUX 3 wins context and output limits, and the part that got me is that Sora 2's longer 25-second Pros ceiling costs 0.70 per second, so you're paying more for 5 extra seconds, while FLUX 3 chains clips into full sequences for a fraction of that, which puts FLUX 3 ahead 2-1, one tied. Test 5 is deployment and modality, and Sora 2's API sunsets September 24th, 2026. That's a hard date, not a rumor, so if you've built a product on top of it, and that deadline hits before you've migrated, your workflow goes dark overnight. And the question is whether FLUX 3's access story is actually better, or just a different kind of risk. When I dug into the deployment picture, FLUX 3 is in early access with private weights available now, and open weight dev version planned for public release. And it's already running on Audi production lines through FLUX Mimic. That's real-world validation at scale, while Sora 2 is API only, fully proprietary, no open weight path, and its consumer app was already discontinued in April 2026. FLUX 3 wins deployment and modality, and this is where the whole comparison really crystallizes. FLUX 3 wins 3-1, with one tied, because it's the only tool here that'll actually still exist in a year and gives you the weights to run it yourself if the API ever changes. So where does FLUX 3 clearly beat Sora 2? Native audio ships in every clip, so you skip the separate music and effects pass entirely. You get 10 image references for consistent characters across scenes. An open weight dev version is planned so you can eventually run it yourself. And third-party access starts around $4.90 a month, a fraction of Sora 2's API rates. Now, Sora 2 does have real advantages worth naming. Pro tier hits 25-second clips, 5 seconds longer than FLUX 3's ceiling. The per-second API pricing is totally transparent at $0.10 at 720p, with no third-party middlemen, and that community-tested speed number of 90 seconds per 20-second clip is a known quantity you can actually plan around. If you need to ship video today and can't wait for early access, Sora 2 is the safe short-term bet. But if you're building anything meant to last past September 2026, FLUX 3 is the only rational choice. One tool has a shutdown date, the other has open weights. One thing nobody's really talking about, FLUX 3 has a documented 9:16 aspect ratio failure mode in the community, meaning vertical video for Reels and Shorts breaks in ways the official specs don't mention. So if your whole pipeline is vertical first, test that before you commit to any third-party FLUX 3 platform. If the open weight angle got you curious about where the broader AI model race is heading right now, I just put out a full breakdown on Claude Opus 4.8, whether it's still worth using in 2025 or if something newer has already lapped it, and that video is up next.